All right, welcome back to the channel. So, the WBC is considering another new weight class in the sport of boxing and is also considering redefining its franchise belt championship. And they are just becoming the biggest joke in boxing, man. I think that they are really trying their absolute best to ruin the sport of boxing. I don't think that there's a more self-serving and selfish organization in boxing than the WBC. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please hit the bell icon, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can be notified when we release more videos. Also, thank you to everybody that supports on the Patreon, everybody that supports in chat as a channel member, and you guys that come by and watch the videos to the end. Thank you guys so much for your support and your great questions and comments in the comment section. All except for you trolls. Y'all, whatever, man. But thanks for coming anyway. Now, let's get into the subject matter of this video. There are very few things that I think that everybody agrees with in boxing, right? We have a lot of, whenever there's a fight between two fighters, there's a bunch of people that like one fighter, a bunch of people that like the other fighter, and we go back and forth on it, right? You have people that are fans of or tend to support one promotional company over another promotional company, right? For whatever reason. And this has been pretty consistent throughout the whole time that I've been paying attention to boxing, right? In the 1980s, it was Don King, Bob Arum, right? And or do you like Mike Tyson, or are you Evander Holyfield, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao? All those type of conversations, right? Where we disagree with one another and we disagree with each other vehemently. But there's one area in boxing where pretty much everybody is in agreement, which is that the WBC sucks. I mean, these sanctioning bodies are terrible, man, terrible. And the WBC in the last 2 years has gone from what many people consider to be the most reputable belt in boxing, even though I would have conversations with Blood Boxing, who's the boxing historian on YouTube, and other people, and he would say, look, man, the WBC ain't never been any better than anybody else. The only reason anybody thinks that the WBC was held to a higher standard or was the belt that everybody wanted is because that's what Floyd Mayweather Jr. said. So since Floyd Mayweather Jr. said the WBC belt is the only important belt, there's a lot of people that came into boxing around that time, started paying attention to it, for Floyd Mayweather Jr. that kind of went along with that line. So then Floyd Mayweather Jr. retires, and now I'm watching the WBC very closely, and let me assure you, dude, that they are the worst. Well, the WBO, I'm not quite sure who's worse, the WBO or the WBC, but I think it might be the WBC because at least the WBO is consistent. At least you can tell what they're about to do, and it doesn't seem like they're making their decisions on the fly all the time. They interpret any rule that they want to interpret however they want to interpret so that they can make money right now. So the WBC is just done some things, talked about a couple things yesterday that just, man, it's seriously, man, it's like the straw is breaking this camel's back. Number one, Mike Benson reports that the WBC in their convention, which they are having online, had a serious debate about adding another weight class to the sport of boxing. Now, this conversation has been going on for a while with the WBC, and the WBC, every time the WBC starts talking about a super heavyweight division, because that's what they were wanting to do, right? They wanted to create a super heavyweight division. Every time they try to bring up this super heavyweight division, everybody in boxing pretty much craps on it, right? There might be an outlier here or an outlier there, but it's pretty much universal that nobody wants that. We already have 17 weight classes. Why do you need 18? We've got 17 weight classes with 4 major championship belts per weight class, and you want to add another 4 belts. Oh, excuse me, between another 4 and 6 belts, maybe 4 and 8 belts, depending on how many championships a particular commission sanctioning body has within the same weight class. Right? The WBA keeps 2 champions per weight class. The WBC in multiple divisions has 2 and 3 different types of champions per weight class. So they want to add another weight class so that weight class can have a franchise, a regular, a silver, a diamond, a topal, an onyx, a Cinco de Mayo. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Stop. Okay? If you cannot make with the 72 championships that we got right now, what is the math on that? We have 17 weight classes at 4, right? What is that, 68? No, 78 weight classes. 78 weight classes plus 78 championship belts, just the major ones. And you want to go ahead and push that up to 82 at the least. At the least. If you franchise all these belts with the WBC, then you've got 17 more belts or 18 more belts, which pushes you at over 100 championship belts if the WBC gets their way. I thought that the WBC and the WBA and the WBO and the IBO were all trying to get together to decrease the number of belts. No, the WBC wants to increase the number of championships, weight classes, which increases the number of belts. Why? Because they can get sanctioning fees. They are willing to run boxing underneath the ground so that they can make more money. People in boxing already have a difficult time telling you who a champion is, right? But now you're going to make it even more confusing. Who is asking for this, number one? Nobody. This is something that the sanctioning body is coming up with on their own in order to generate more revenue for their company. The sport of boxing be damned. Now, this is not the only ridiculous ruling that they made. Now, according to, I think it was this Michael Benson also, there was an article that came out to talk about the Vasily Lomachenko Teofimo Lopez fight. And that the Teofimo Lopez fight is now for the WBC franchise belt. Talk about a bait and switch. They said that the championship, the franchise belt, was supposed to be something that was used for a fighter that was fighting between multiple weight classes and was some exceptional thing in the sport of boxing, some huge star that everybody wanted to see, that they're going between 2 and 3 different weight classes, and we don't want him to lose the WBC belt. So he's the franchise belt champion. Somebody tell me how in the heck Teofimo Lopez matches that. Because the WBC, because Top Rank asked the WBC to recognize Teofimo Lopez as the franchise champion if he beats Vasily Lomachenko, and the WBC said yes. So they just midstream rewrote the definition of a franchise champion, because that's what they said it was when they justified letting Vasily Lomachenko duck his mandatory Devin Haney. And now because in the championship belt, the WBC franchise belt wasn't supposed to be on the line because you can't fight for it. But they came up with a way around it. They're just going to designate him it after the fight, which means they are fighting for the franchise belt, which means depending on whether or not the WBC likes you or not, you can fight for it. It is complete and utter garbage, man. It's complete and utter phony, fake garbage, and it is ruining the sport of boxing, and it is doing it for nothing but for the financial reward of the WBC. They are absolutely ridiculous, man. They're terrible. WBO and the WBC, man. God, man, thank you for the IBF. If it wasn't for the IBF, there would be almost no sanity in boxing, man. Terrible, terrible decision by the WBC. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.